Hello everybody, welcome back to Planet X News once again. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to do a quick update on this very strong magnitude 8.0 earthquake that has just struck Peru. Now, I was getting initial reports in. I do have a lot of subscribers, in South America, and they were pointing me to several tweets on Twitter that were coming out showing this damage. And initially, this rang in at a 7.5 magnitude earthquake, and something very unusual happened. The USGS actually upgraded it to the magnitude 8.0 where it stands right now. Also, initial reports are saying that this earthquake was felt across the entire region. Initially, the Associated Press and several other mainstream media news outlets were reporting no damage, no injury, pretty much reporting nothing. What you can rely on is a hardcore truther to bring out the real information. And yes, folks, there has been catastrophic damage in this surrounding area. We're going to go over that. We're going to check out a few of these tweets. And also, I was checking out some of the heliplots, or seismograms as we call them, and wow, this earthquake rang through the earth like you would not believe. Just about every single seismogram on the USGS website has registered this earthquake, even up here into the United States on the other side of the world. So we're going to go ahead and check out some of this information right now. Let me go ahead and pull up the live chat real quick. And yeah, we'll go from there. I actually stopped over in the Dutch Sense live stream, and he was only live for just a few minutes, and he was just waking up and going to get some coffee, and I was keeping all of the subscribers to his YouTube channel updated as I had a bunch of this information coming in. Let me see something here real quick. Okay, we're good to go. Got the live chat all ready to rock and roll. And I just screwed it up. Do you believe that? Yeah, folks, this was a pretty devastating earthquake. I was also getting reports in on landslides that have occurred. So we'll just go ahead and set that up right there so I could see all of you. Yeah, a lot of landslides. A few fires have broken out. There have been a lot of buildings that have collapsed. And as you can see, I got this photograph in. One of my subscribers inboxed this to me. This looks to be an overpass bridge of some kind, literally split in half. So I'm sure in the hours to come, we are probably going to see a lot more damage than what is coming in right now. But let's get over to Twitter and let's check some of this stuff out, because I have it all laid out for us right now. And, you know, I really hate to do this because I can't stand CNN. But this was their headline right here. Strong earthquake in northern Peru felt across the region. And there are some initial tweets in here from the minister of Peru. But I have all of that information already. And we'll just go ahead and jump right over here. And I already have this translated. One of the first tweets, this was about 4 hours ago. And there is one particular city or small town, Maguas. I think I'm pronouncing it correctly. Maybe not. Some of their names in Peru, the city and town names are kind of hard to pronounce if you're not, bilingual. But it says here that agents of the Peruvian police are patrolling the streets to calm down the population and receive information about housing collapses due to strong earthquakes. There is no information of victims so far. Well, that was 4 hours ago. There have been several building collapses, and we can just go ahead and click on here. We'll check out the pictures real quick. I was getting reports immediately from followers of mine in South America and in Peru that people were literally, they were scared to death. They were all running out into the streets. So as of right now, you probably have more people in the streets of all of these towns and cities and small villages in this area of Peru than you do in their houses. So I have seen quite a bit of damage already from what's been sent in. This is a little bit of a blurry picture somebody took. You see a rescue worker right there. You see the entire corner of that building completely collapsed. And that building, I mean, that looks like rubble, rocks, concrete blocks, stone, things of that nature. I really can't see to the top of that building, but it looks like there's a high possibility that that roof collapsed. If that is an apartment building, you may have some people trapped in there. Yes, folks, early in the morning, it's Red Bull time. That Colombian coffee just doesn't have the same kick as the Red Bull. Here you can see people already in the streets, rescue workers everywhere. Let's go ahead and move down. That was the last and only tweet from the Peruvian minister. We're going to jump over to another Peruvian website, or excuse me, a Twitter page that I follow, Bomberos PE for Peru. And this was again about 4 hours ago. First images after the earthquake that occurred in Urimaguas, Alto Amazonas, Loreto. Hey, my Spanish isn't too bad, you know. Remember, I lived in Miami for 25 years, even though I never picked up Spanish perfectly. I could understand it better than I could speak it. Let's check out this video right here. This is coming from this area. Oh my, yeah, you could already see the rock, the rubble, the concrete chunks. We'll go ahead and play this. Definitely a lot of damage there, folks. See, the whole corner of that building has come down. What do we have here? After the recorded earthquake, the electrical power was cut. That's been reported. Firefighters are already combing the affected area after the collapse of old houses on Castillo Street. And again, this is all in the same area. Let's take a look at some of these photographs. Okay, that was the building that we were just looking at. I wasn't sure if the entire roof had collapsed, but from what we're seeing here, it does look like a very, very large portion of the roof has collapsed. You could see the ceiling sticking out. That would be the, what is that, the first, second, that'd probably be about the second floor of this structure. That building is, I would say that building's totaled right there. Whenever you get damage like that on the corner of a building, especially something that's built with rock or concrete block, that building's definitely unstable, and hopefully everybody got out of that alive. You could see the very, very large pile of rubble here at the bottom, and all kinds of electrical wires dangling. And, usually, folks, whenever you have earthquakes of this magnitude, some of the biggest problems and the biggest fears are fires, because you could have ruptured gas lines, and I mean natural gas, to these structures, and also these electrical lines. Very, very dangerous. The electrical lines that are laying on the ground, especially at nighttime, people running out into the streets, they could literally step on one of these high voltage wires, and that's it. The earthquake didn't kill you. A down power line electrocuted you. So you do have to be very, very safe. And that is a lot of damage. That's a lot of damage to a building right there. Let's flip over to the next photograph here. Now you can see a small, looks like a metal corrugated rooftop or overhang that's been completely knocked off and destroyed. Here you also see more concrete, brick, chunks of debris that have fallen probably from the upper facade of this building. Now I know they do build a lot with concrete block and stone in the South American region, and but a lot of these structures are very, very old, folks. We have the same problem here in the United States. Our infrastructure needs a lot of work. Our government needs to spend, $500 billion, if not $1 trillion, upgrading our infrastructure. Bridges, roadways, buildings, things of that nature. So I think, again, over the next couple of hours, we're probably going to see a lot more destruction in several of these areas of Peru. That was the last picture in that. Okay, this is unrelated. That is a fire from another time. We could just check out the USGS here real quick. They really didn't put up much of anything, and just that it was a magnitude 8.0, northern Peru, out there near the Amazon. But the heliplots, the seismograms, we're going to get to those here in a few minutes, and you're going to see how this earthquake was felt all the way across the earth, as meaning the earth itself felt it, and the seismograms all around the world picked this information up. So we're going to go ahead and jump over to seismologia. Seismologia. I can't even pronounce this in Spanish. I'm so damn tongue-tied this morning. It's pathetic. Seismologia Mundial. Hey, sorry guys. If I'm slaughtering your Hispanic names, I really, I'm really, really sorry. It's not my first language. This is a very interesting video here. I don't know what happened in this video. The voice that you hear, they must have slowed it down or something occurred. But this was an actual police station, and you can see this police officer sitting behind the desk with a magnitude 8.0 under his butt. He got out of the police station immediately. I got later reports that they evacuated the entire police department. But let's check this out. I'll turn the volume up. See, I don't know what happened to the audio there. It was like this in the original video. I'll actually just turn that off. But in the initial reports that came through, People were sleeping. You know, this was very, 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 very early in the morning. And, you know, a magnitude 8.0, yeah, that will bounce you right out of your bed or right off of your sofa. And the people, you know, they were very, very scared. They all start running into the streets. So, you know, the question is, what do? Do you stay inside of your house and fear a collapse? Or do you run out into the street? One way or another, folks, you have to be very, very careful in these situations. This is a video. This looks like it was deep inside of a building. And let me go ahead and just translate the tweet. Oh, this was the facade of a church in Ecuador has been demolished by this earthquake. So this piece of video footage is not coming out of Peru. This is coming out of Ecuador, which is right next door. So we'll go ahead and we'll go ahead and play this. I'm going to go ahead and bring it back to the very beginning.
Buenos días, aquí estamos en Nambacola, la torre de la iglesia en el suelo.
So it's hard to see. It's hard to see by this video.
Tremendo, toda la torre en el piso.
Okay, this guy's outside of this church. It looks like the whole entire front face of the church has completely collapsed into the street. And again, folks, you know, this all happened very, 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 very early in the morning. I was up at 3:33 a.m. and by 3:45, I was sitting at my computer. First thing I do every morning is I check earthquake data around the world. And the minute I opened up my earthquake map, I saw that big red round symbol right over Peru. And I said to myself, wow, that has got to be a magnitude 7 or above. And initially, again, whenever I clicked on that link, the USGS rang this earthquake in at a 7.5. Within 15 minutes, they upgraded it to a magnitude 8.0. And you know, folks, you've all heard me complain about the USGS, and if you watch Dutch, he complains about him all the time, and I'm sure he's probably confused at, wow, the USGS actually upgraded an earthquake and didn't try to downplay it. But folks, you know, I don't know why they do that. I know Dutch has uncovered so much deceit dealing with these seismology organizations over in Europe and also the USGS. But for once, they got it right. I really hate to say that. Here's another piece of video. Let's go ahead and translate this. The translation states, damage in the jungle ice cream parlor. Yumaguas, Peru. Devastation, yeah, by the strong magnitude 8.0 earthquake. I'm going to go ahead and rewind this back to the beginning. We have the sound on. You can see all of the rubbles of rock right behind this guy in the blue shorts. Let's take a look at this. Yeah, that seems to be a lot of rubble. And I'm not talking about Barney rubble. Here we have some more pictures. These are the same photographs that we saw just earlier. Here's another structure. You know, that one doesn't look like it was too well built. It looks to be pretty old. And you can see that there's quite a bit of damage to that structure. This is another view of that same building. It seems to have a pretty expansive facade and overhang at the top of the roof, and it looks like a large portion of that has already come down. You can see the ceiling, parts of the ceiling are starting to hang and droop, and the whole entire corner of that building has come down. So probably in the very, very near future, that building's going to have to be torn down completely. It's definitely unsafe. This is another view of it here. Yeah, I'd say that's a pretty big hole in that building. Definitely not safe at all. Let's take a look at some of the this video here. This is kind of sad here, folks. You know, this just shows you the fear. Let me try to position this the right way. There's a very young girl in this video clip. You could see that she is just absolutely scared to death. And even though you may live in a seismic area, a seismic zone, and maybe you've felt earthquakes throughout your life, but whenever you experience these very powerful earthquakes, magnitude 7s and 8s, you know, no matter, you're never used to that. And you'll see in this video, you'll see the fear within these folks, and it's kind of sad. Hopefully, as the day pans out, hopefully nobody has lost their lives in this earthquake. But let's check this piece of video out.
Hay que alejarnos, hay que alejarnos. No podemos estar ahí parados. Sí, sigue moviendo. Vamos afuera porque ya, tranquilos, por favor, tranquilos, calma, ya. Con histeria no sacamos nada. Exacto. Qué terrible, Dios mío, qué terrible. ¿Dónde habrá sido el epicentro? Tranquila, tranquila, ya pasó, tranquilos. Ha sido terremoto. Ha sido terremoto, ha sido terremoto.
You can see, folks, these were actually young ladies. That looks to be like a nightclub. And it looks like they were all out, you know, on the Saturday night partying away down there in Peru, kicking it up. And the next thing you know, a magnitude 8.0 earthquake strikes. You could see all the dust in the air while you're watching that piece of video footage. And you could hear the one lady, the one girl is saying, be calm, you know, basically take it easy. But again, you know, 1 minute you're sitting there in a nightclub having a good time on a Saturday night, you know, possibly having a few Coronas and a few drinks. And the next thing you know, the building is crumbling around you, shaking and rattling. And yeah, that would be quite disturbing. Definitely quite disturbing. Get a little bit more audio here. Oh, let's just go back a little bit.
Centro.
Now they said the power was cut to a large area surrounding this
Qué terrible.
this earthquake.
¿Dónde ha sido? En Lima también está horrible. Ah, quiero ir a Metanel.
Now I'm not sure if the actual earthquake caused the power outage in several of these areas, or they cut the power, knowing that there were going to be multiple downed electrical lines laying everywhere. And again, with people running out into the streets, listen, you step on one of those wires, and you see these young ladies here, a lot of them have just very lightweight shoes on, lightweight sandals. You step on one of those power lines that's live, that's it. The party, whoop, is literally over. You're dead. So hopefully their emergency management team there in Peru, hopefully they cut the power, because it does seem to be there were quite a few electrical lines that were broken, knocked over. These power poles, you know, these poles are only wooden, so they can get cracked, damaged, and knocked over very, very easily. We see it all the time during the hurricane season and also during all of these tornadoes that are hitting the Midwest. You get one of these electrical poles snapped over, then it's like a domino effect, because they're all connected with the high tension wire, and they just start breaking and snapping one after the other, even if they're not hit with the actual tornado. Just that domino effect starts snapping the power poles, and then the next thing you know, these electrical wires are laying on the ground. And you know, if you don't know any better, and you're running, and here it's nighttime, people can't see, you step on one of those wires, baby, it is lights out forever. This just gives you a little perspective of exactly where this earthquake occurred. I did get one inbox message from a subscriber of mine in Peru, and he inboxed me and said that he was in Lima on business from this weekend, and he was in a very high hotel building, multiple stories, and he said the whole entire building was swaying back and forth. Wow! That would not be fun. That would be scary as hell. I would not want to be, I'd not want to be in that situation. This gives you a perspective, this little map right here, of the layout of South America. If you're not familiar with the geography, you have Colombia right to the north, Ecuador right above, and then you have the Amazon off to the east. And folks, in Ecuador, that's where that church was. That church was completely destroyed, and you could see the distance from the epicenter to Ecuador. You know, that's a pretty far distance there. So I'm sure, again, as daylight continues, more reports are going to come out. I think we're going to see some damage. We may even see a few casualties from this earthquake. There were initial reports headed eastward over towards the base of the mountains that there were a lot of landslides that occurred. You would definitely think that would happen because there has been a lot of rain in this portion of South America. It continues. We'll actually take a look on the radar in a minute here, and we'll see what their weather conditions are. But they have been getting a lot of rain. I've seen multiple videos that have come in from Ecuador and Peru and also Colombia and Brazil of catastrophic flooding situations. So if the ground is saturated, naturally the ground is going to be rather loose. You start shaking the earth violently in a magnitude 8.0 earthquake, yes, you can guarantee that you're going to have landslides, and they're not going to be small. They're going to be huge. Just a few days ago, I think it was either yesterday, the day before, maybe 3 days ago, there was a landslide in Colorado, and the whole side of this mountain came down near a roadway. There was a rock in the middle of the road. I kid you not. I wish I had the picture. I don't know if I saved it or not. This rock was the size of a large 2-story house. And I mean massive. The picture I saw was a guy, a construction worker, road worker, standing next to this rock. He looked like he was this big. Yeah. Now, we've had situations like that here in my neck of the woods in Pittsburgh. I live 20 miles south of the city. And since the winter time, December, January, February, March, and even into this month, we've had rock slide after rock slide, landslide after landslide, hillsides coming down, houses just whoop, disappearing right over the hill. So, this all has to do with all of the rain. We didn't have a bad winter here in my section of Pennsylvania, but we did have a lot of rain. And we do have the threat of more of these landslides. There was a time, I believe it was in early February, if I'm not mistaken. In early February, we had listed 65 landslides in 1 week. 65. And that was in the greater Tri-County area of Pittsburgh, 3 counties. 65 landslides in 3 counties. That's pretty bad. It's definitely going to keep the road workers busy. But a lot of these came down around highways leading in and out of the city. So, I mean, that's not good either. Okay, this was an earthquake that they were talking about here in the Dominican Republic. That was a magnitude 4.2. Okay, let's zip out of here. And I'm going to show you guys these heliplots. And these are the international. These are the international, not the United States heliplots. I'm actually going to expand this screen a little bit. There we go. That'll be a little bit better. And these seismograms, these are all over the world, folks, and here in the United States. But you can see these are all the current ones that came through. And I'm sure once an update comes through, we're going to see all of these seismograms turn black. They'll just be black. You won't see any spikes across the screens. You'll just see complete black. We've seen that before. So if you're familiar with geography, there's Barbados, Panama, Grenada, Cuba, Jamaica, the Dominican Republic, Honduras, which is in Central America. You have, look at this in China, Beijing. Beijing, bing, ding, ding. Yeah, their seismograms picked this up. The Hubei province in China. All of these seismograms here in China, they're all ringing. No data on these. All the way up in the Aleutian Islands in Alaska, you can see those seismograms pick this all up. Samoa. I don't know why this one for Albuquerque, New Mexico is mixed in here. The country of Turkey, St. George's, all the way on the other side of the world. In Russia, you can see the spikes. That's a lot of activity right there, folks. All the way down in Casey, Antarctica, down at the bottom of nowhere on our planet. Look at that seismogram. Holy hell. Again, I don't know why this one's on here for Missouri. Here's Thailand. Wow. Yeah, they really felt it over there in Thailand. Well, as far as the seismograms, I'm not talking about people actually feeling the earthquake that far away, but the seismograms, these devices that are planted within the ground, deep within the earth, they definitely felt that. College Outpost, Alaska, it registered. The state of Oregon, that registered. Hey, you know, folks, listen to this. this may sound a little far-fetched to all of you, but when we have an earthquake like this, a magnitude 8, and this wasn't a shallow earthquake near the surface. This was about, I think, 115, 120 kilometers deep. This can actually trigger more earthquakes in volatile fault zones. And yeah, this can actually trigger earthquakes up in the Caribbean. This can trigger earthquakes in Central America, all the way up into Mexico along the western coast where we see that activity, and Southern California. Yeah. This can actually ring itself all the way up the San Andreas Fault, into the Juan de Fuca Fault, and into Cascadia. No joke. That's for real. Whew. Yeah, now there's also a possibility, like I said earlier in my first broadcast this morning, this earthquake will be felt straight through the earth, from one side straight through, just cut right through. And we could end up seeing earthquake activity in Vietnam, Cambodia, China, India, Indonesia. Hell, you could even possibly see an odd earthquake in Australia. Definitely New Zealand, the Fiji Islands, the Solomon Islands, all of those areas around the Ring of Fire. This may become a very, very active day over the course of the next several hours. I mean, I'm gonna be keeping a close eye on it. Here's Ethiopia on the African continent. That seismogram went off. Grafenberg, Germany. Their seismogram went off, almost totally black. Once again, I don't know why Texas is in here. Hockley, Texas. That went off. Solomon Islands. Massachusetts. I don't know why that's on here. The Republic of Korea, right over here. Johnston Island. I have no idea where that's at. Afghanistan, Kabul. There's Norway. Wow. There you go. All the way up. Thousands and thousands of miles away. Norway. Right next to it, you see Finland. Their seismogram recorded all of this. The Ukraine, Hawaii. Back on the African continent, Kenya. Here's another one from Norway. Wow. Chile, which is very, very close to Peru. Yeah. And again, these seismograms are going to be updated here in about, I think it's like every 30 minutes. So I'm going to be checking on that. Maybe we'll refresh the screen. We may see all of these seismograms just turn flat black. And that's probably what's going to happen, because I've seen it many, many times before. This seismogram here, look at that, all the way over in Russia again, Canary Islands, Japan. Yeah, that's another place that we're going to have to watch very carefully over the next 24 hours, because we all know that, you know, Japan gets hit constantly with earthquakes, and a magnitude 8 in Peru, you really wouldn't think that it would affect Japan. But in actuality, folks, when you're dealing with seismicity like that, it's a little hard to explain sometimes, but that energy deep down inside of the earth, it travels literally underneath your feet. So there's a high possibility that that energy traveling directly underneath the Pacific Ocean, and it could ring some bells over there in Japan within the matter of hours. But we will see. Here you see Western Australia. Their seismogram went off. Midway Island. Here's another one from Australia. Ecuador, San Pablo, Spain, more from Russia, New Guinea. Here's another one from Palmer Station in the Antarctic. They felt it. Hawaii, Pitcairn Island in the South Pacific. You can see right there, it started to ring in. This is the South Pole Remote Earth Science Observatory in the Antarctic. You can see the spikes right there. That's pretty heavy. Cook Island, Brazil. Wow, look at that in Brazil. That's pretty strong right there. That's real strong. I don't know why South Dakota is on there. Here's Scott Base in the Antarctic. It definitely registered there. Wow, check this out over here. Well, look at that. All the way up in Greenland. The little greenies up in Greenland. But look over here in Puerto Rico. Look at these strong signatures. Here and here. Wow. Well, here we go here. Sierra Laguna, Baja California, right at the top of Mexico, bottom of California. You can see this signature right there. That's very, very strong. Very strong. All the way over there in New Zealand, their seismograms lit up. Standing Stone, Pennsylvania. I don't know how far that is away from me, but their seismogram picked it up. Taipei, Taiwan. More from Russia. Argentina. Arizona. Again, I don't know why these are on here from the United States. Mongolia. Wake Island. I don't know where that's at. Waverly, Tennessee. Wow, yeah, this was literally just felt around the world. Let's do something here real quick while we have this seismogram on here. And I'm going to refresh my screen and let's see if we get some different readouts. Oh, yeah. We're not going to go back through all of them, but I'm just going to pan down real quick. Now you see how these are all starting to turn completely black. Probably within the next 30-minute update, maybe the next hour update, you'll see all of these seismograms. They'll be pretty close to just flat black. Yeah, it's already starting to ring in now. I'm just gonna cruise down here real quick because I'm kind of curious. Yeah, you can see the signatures are now starting to come in. The way the seismograms work, you'll see the information feeding from the left over to the right. That's what we're seeing right here. Yeah, you could definitely see the earthquake signature. It's now starting to appear on a lot of this data. I want to jump over to the heliplots, and I'm going to refresh this so we get new data. This should be here in the United States. And as you can see, New Mexico, Missouri, Alaska, Oregon. Look at that in Florida. Whew. Yeah. So you can see, folks, that this earthquake, I'm going to pan down here just real quick, see if I see anything unusual. But really all that you're going to see is you're going to see these signatures just mostly going to be black. This was a very, very powerful earthquake. It wasn't really that deep. You know, anything over 100 kilometers is kind of in the middle range for being a deep earthquake. Whenever I refer to a deep earthquake, I'm looking at something that is at least 200, 250 kilometers deep. That's a deep earthquake. We've seen the earthquakes in the South Pacific, specifically like the Solomon Islands and Fiji. Around that area, we've seen earthquakes as deep as 600 kilometers deep. And that just occurred, what was that? Maybe about 6 to 9 months ago. But as of lately, the earthquakes really haven't been that deep along the Ring of Fire in that South Pacific area. They've been relatively shallow. You know, going back and looking at the history of the earthquakes in that area, they're usually pretty deep. But as of lately, they've been making their way kind of towards the surface. The closer they are to the surface, the more damage that you're going to have. And this earthquake in Peru, it wasn't really that deep, 100, 120 kilometers deep. So if it was, you know, 50 or 25 kilometers deep, we would probably see a hell of a lot more damage than what we're seeing already. But initial reports are just coming out, so we're really not seeing what's out there. Who just sent me a super chat? Oh, you guys don't have to waste your money. Jay Bravo! Woo! There you go. I'll buy myself a nice big Italian hoagie with that. Thank you very much. So we're looking at Alabama. These guys down in Bama, their seismograms all felt it. You could see, folks, I'm not going to go ripping through all of these, but this just goes to show you how earthquake activity really does affect the earth from one end to the other, or from one side to the other. And I'm going to be quite honest with you, what I am actually very fearful of right now is this magnitude 8.0 triggering earthquakes over in the Caribbean, like specifically over in Haiti and the Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico, and also triggering earthquakes on the west coast of Mexico and in Central America. That's the last thing that these folks need. That's the last thing anybody needs. But in another horrific scenario is, you know, this triggering earthquakes all the way up the Mexican coast into California. And listen, folks, even if it doesn't happen, it can happen. This is the way these seismic waves can literally just travel right through the earth. So if the situation is correct and right, that will happen. Hopefully it does not. You can see here up in Texas, Idaho Springs, Colorado. And there were two sizable earthquakes in Utah right when this happened. So we're going to go bounce back and we're going to take another look at the earthquake map and see what's going on there. You can see this seismogram right here for Kingsville, Texas. Look how black that is. Yeah, so definitely look at West Virginia, Arkansas. More from Texas, Montana. South Carolina, state of Washington. Look at that. All the way, right here, all the way up the west coast of the United States into the state of Washington. That's a pretty damn strong seismic signature right there. All the way up into Nebraska. Oxford, Mississippi. Look at this. All the way on the other side of the United States, going up near the Canadian border, the state of Maine. It rang its bell up there. Here's more from Iowa and Montana. Oh God, don't even let me start thinking about Yellowstone. Man. Vicksburg, Mississippi up here, that's a damn strong signature. Really, really strong. Oklahoma, more from Alaska, Arizona, more from Oregon. I'm going to zip all the way back up here. I'm going to go ahead and refresh this and see what happens. Let me just do one more time here. I didn't see if it changed. Okay, so those heliplots have not changed yet. I want to run back over here. I just want to see if there's any more updates here real quick. Just bear with me, folks. Okay, no new updates for Bomberos. Nothing for the USGS as of yet. Nothing as of yet. And we're going to jump over here real quick to the earthquake map just to check and see if there are any more updates. Now here's an odd quake right here, magnitude 3.0 in Oklahoma. These were the two quakes that I was talking about initially in Utah, magnitude 4.2, and in northern Utah, a magnitude 3.25. And these came just at about the same time as this earthquake in Peru. Check out the depth. Well, this may have to do with some fracking or oil well drilling. It's hard to say in this section of Oklahoma. Yeah, the depth of this earthquake was only 110 kilometers deep. So I would consider that to be a moderately shallow earthquake. That's really, really not that deep. And then right below it, we had a magnitude 4.6. Now, that just occurred 2 hours ago. And again, that wasn't that deep, 77 kilometers deep. So we'll see how things go, folks. And you can see right here, this is what really gets me watching earthquake activity, is when I start to see these long lines of earthquakes like that, in these long straight lines. 4 hours ago in Afghanistan. 8 hours ago, India. 2 hours ago, Indonesia, already ringing like a bell, magnitude 4.9. 6 hours ago, that was actually before the Peruvian quake. And 8 hours ago, Vanuatu, there's a nice big volcano there, magnitude 4.7. So we'll see how things pan out. There's not a lot of activity, as I stated in my morning broadcast when this earthquake actually occurred. There's not a lot of activity coming from the sun. I would expect a magnitude 8.0 earthquake to definitely be related to possible activity from our sun. An X-flare, a coronal mass ejection, spreading these heavily charged particles directly towards the Earth. But none of that happened. None of that happened. The solar wind has been relatively calm, 300 to 400 kilometers per second. The coronal holes have been actually sparse, Earth-facing, over the past 72 hours. But again, folks, like I said, with our magnetosphere weakening every tick of the clock, that's a big problem. And we are probably, in the very near future, we are probably going to start seeing these larger earthquakes with more frequency. The reason why I say that is just this. The weaker our magnetosphere gets, if and when things do occur on the sun, like heavy coronal hole streams, an X-flare, a coronal mass ejection, or just your day-to-day our magnetosphere pressing up against the sun's magnetic field, these two press up against each other. And with the sun's magnetic field getting weaker during this solar minimum, which lasts for 11 years, we haven't even actually gotten into it yet. We're still just on the forefront of this as far as what scientists are saying. So they're actually predicting that we go into this solar minimum around the middle of June or the end of June. So we already see what's happening now. Can you only imagine? 11 years. So as each week or each month goes by and these magnetic fields get weaker and weaker and weaker, it's definitely putting our planet at jeopardy or in jeopardy. There's no doubt about it. People like myself and Dutch Since and many other truthers on YouTube that pay very close attention to these types of situations, looks like we're going to be pretty damn busy over the next decade, maybe even longer than that. I'm watching very, very carefully to these sunspots on the back side of the sun. These were the sunspots that we were watching so very, very carefully just a little more than a week ago. And as I mentioned, these sunspots would eventually just fizzle out as they were heading across the front face of the sun, facing the Earth. So I'm going to just go ahead and pull the SDO up real quick. And you guys could get a pretty decent look at it right here. These dark areas here. Those are all coronal openings. You're literally looking down towards the surface of the sun. And the lighter colored areas, let's just talk in layman's terms. You can consider that like cloud cover. Like you would look up into the sky and see clouds, and then maybe you would see a break in the clouds. Now that's kind of like what we're looking at here. When you see those dark black areas, those are just huge openings in the sun's, so-called atmosphere. When you see those big black dark openings, that allows all of the sun's energy to just pour out in the form of what we refer to as solar wind. Now, it's not actually a wind like, that can blow your hair back. It's referred to as a solar wind because it is a stream of heavily charged particles coming from the sun. And these heavily charged particles, they normally travel between 400 and 800 kilometers per second. That's fast. I have seen them traveling between 1.5 and 2.5 million miles per hour. So, it doesn't take very long at that rate of speed to make its way towards the Earth and impact the Earth. Whenever you see the aurora borealis, that's a telltale sign we're having a geomagnetic storm. And, these particles, that is what creates the aurora, the interaction with those heavily charged particles and the Earth's magnetic field. So this is what we're looking at right here. But again, I haven't seen much activity from these coronal holes and the solar wind that would induce that powerful of an earthquake. So there's probably something else happening deep underground, deep within the Earth's crust that, yes, we don't know about. And that's scary, especially if you happen to live in a seismic zone. Earthquakes just come just like that. There's no warning signs. But there are things that we can look towards to say, hey, you know what? You're going to be on an earthquake watch. We see some heavily charged particles streaming from the sun, from this coronal hole. Impact should be in about 24, 48 hours, 72 hours. Usually gives us several days of warning. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Now, the coronal openings that you see right here, this is a 48-hour loop, which means what you're seeing here is about 2 days old. So, now, you know, I don't think that these openings had anything to do with that earthquake. I could be wrong, but I've been doing this for a very, very long time. I don't think that this had anything to do with this earthquake. Something else is going on under the Earth's crust that provoked that magnitude 8. I'm going to look into it today. I'm going to poke around. I'm going to keep my eyes and my ears open. I do have a large number of subscribers that are in South America. And they tell me all the time they watch my live streams and they watch the videos, and they have to watch it through their translator. And they don't comment a lot of times in the comment section during the live streams, because they figure nobody can understand them. And they're probably right. But I got a lot of inbox messages from these folks. And a lot of them were telling me in Spanish that they were scared to death. This was a very, very strong earthquake. I think back in the 1970s, or was it I think it was 1970 or 1972, there was a massive earthquake. Massive. I believe it was just off the coast of Peru. It killed 70,000 people. Did you hear me right? It killed 70,000 people. There's no difference between 1970 and 2019. These earthquakes can kill a lot of people instantly. And this is one of the main reasons why I do what I do, and people like Dutch Since, BP Earthwatch, Mr. MBB333, Mark over there at the Blue Kool-Aid channel, Jeff P. There's a lot of us out there that, you know, we do what we do here on YouTube, just not to play around and be popular and be some YouTube personality. I believe each and every one of us truly cares about humanity, truly cares about our planet. And we really don't have any type of alert system that we could really, truly depend on. I think that's an absolute truth. Now, listen, folks, one more time, real quick. Let me jump out of the SDO here. And let me just back out of here. If any of you have missed what I've been talking about, the new email notification network that I've set up, it's starting to go very, very well. But I need more and more of you to click on the link in the description box under our videos, under this live stream. It's over there now. You can click on that link. It will take you to this landing page. Okay? This is for email notifications. You enter your name. You enter your email address. You click enter. Wait for about 30 seconds, maybe a minute. Go to your email inbox. For some of you that are using older email services, look in your spam folder. You'll see a confirmation email. Open that email and confirm your subscription to this email notification. For you guys that are using Google Gmail or Yahoo, look in your update folder. And I recommend, folks, that if you guys are using old email services, open up a Gmail account. Trust me. It's a lot easier. And so what I've done is I've created all of this for you guys. This will help me keep in touch with all of you in the case of any emergency. And this actually prevents YouTube from not notifying you guys that I'm doing a live stream or that I've uploaded a video. And this also goes for articles that are written on the Planet X News website. I have so many people that tell me they never get notified by YouTube that I'm live streaming. They never get notified that I've uploaded a video. So I've had it. I think this is a better way to build a network with everybody around the world. So if something catastrophic does happen, or I know about something that's going to happen, it would take me literally 2 minutes and one push of a button, and every single person on this network will receive that email instantly within a minute. So this is costing me close to $500 a month right now. That number is probably going to increase in due time, but that's not a problem. I have the money to do it. No big deal. I don't need any help, no financial help from the subscribers to this YouTube channel. Not going to be like these other YouTube channels that say, oh, I want to do this, but I need your help. I need all of you to kick up some money so I can do this. No. You guys keep your damn money. I'll take care of this. No problem. You want to spend some money with Planet X News? Go buy one of our shirts. Go buy Dr. Albers' books and read up on it and give some food to your brain. But I'll take care of all this. Yeah, I got my newest shirt right here, baby. My USA Truther. Woo! Right there. I just created 2 new shirts yesterday. And hey, you know what? This is a way to show your support. This is a way to create conversations with people. Like I said, folks, I wear my chemtrail shirts, banned geoengineering. I wear them damn shirts everywhere. I get people talking to me. Hey, what's that shirt? What's that shirt? What's that geoengineering? Oh, what's a chemtrail? And then I got you. And I'll stand there for 15 or 20 minutes and I'll explain what's going on in the skies above. Absolutely. So you want to lend some support that way, folks. That's perfect. You know, that would help Dr. Albers out. And look, we don't make much from the shirts. I try to keep the price as low as possible. But you know what? We need ways to wake people up. It's not about a whole big money game. But, you know, when you're walking around and you've got a nice looking shirt on that's got a big logo on it, well, what are people going to look at? They're going to look at your damn shirt. And they may strike up a conversation with you. And, hey, listen, if they ask you about that shirt, now you're on the hook. Now you have to become a true truther. And you got to fill those people in. You got to do your part. And that is waking others up. No doubt about it. So, listen, get over there. The link is in the description box under this video. Sign your butts up. It doesn't cost you a dime. You may get 1 email a day. I am not going to overload your email with a bunch of junk crap. But for you folks that don't get these notifications from the boob tube, at least you'll know, okay, I missed the live stream. I can check it out now. Here's the link. It's all right there. I put articles up on our website. You don't have to depend on anything. You will get an email notification from me. Maybe 1 a day, folks. And, you know, you can share this with other folks also. You can forward an email to several people in your contact list. Hey, Bob, Joe, Stan, Mary, Jane, hey, check this out. I think you may find this interesting. Welcome to the truth movement. Boom. So, folks, take advantage of the situation. Sign up. Get this done. Don't forget, you have to confirm your email subscription by going back to your email, opening it up, and clicking on the confirm button. Okay? It doesn't take more than a minute to a minute and a half. If the truth means that much to you, then you'll get her done. You'll get her done. But anyways, folks, I am going to get back to poking my nose all over the place pertaining to this specific earthquake, what's occurred down there in Peru. Say a prayer for these folks. Keep in mind that possibly some people may have lost their lives. And for all the folks that are in the Midwest, I know I didn't touch on the tornado activity and the weather activity in the central part of the United States. I will do that in a few hours. I'm waiting for some updated data to come in on the GO-16 radar. There were a lot of tornadoes, a lot of damage in the Midwest again yesterday, overnight, leading into this morning. Keep all of these people in your prayers. Keep them in your thoughts. So if you're not religious and you don't pray, keep them in your thoughts and hope for the best. But the way things are looking, folks, it's going to be a very, very active weather season throughout the rest of this spring, all through the summer, and into the fall. That's what I'm seeing. But who am I? I'm just a guy on YouTube. But you know what? I'm a smart guy. With a big mouth. Real big. But anyways, folks, I'm going to let you all go. The upcoming holiday weekend, Memorial Day, be very, very careful out there. And watch out for those cops with those DUI checkpoints. Because they'll all be out there waiting to write you up those tickets and take you to jail and make your life miserable. Because you got to pay all those fines. But it's also best to be safe, folks. There'll be a lot of people on the roads. And yes, there will be some drunk bastards out there drunk driving. So be very, very careful. I'm going to sign off for now, folks. Watch your weather. This is Scott from Planet X News. I'm out of here till later, folks. Take care.